What's happening, YouTube? It's Simon 466 Cards, and today we're going to talk about trade night or possibly trade nights at the National this year in Cleveland. I think there will be more than one trade night at the National based off of this conversation from friend of the channel, Sportscards Nonsense, and their podcast on April the 1st. You can see it on your screen. They had a person named Adam Gelman on to discuss hosting a trade night at the National, and he kind of let it slip that there was going to be more than one. So I'm just going to play this for you, and then we'll talk about it after this is done.
You know, this year we were invited into their trade nights. So instead of having kind of this separate event that's going to take place in Chicago outside of the show, they are having like 3 separate trade nights that are going to take place during the show in Cleveland. And main event 2, so we're going to sort of make it like WrestleMania where we number them and stuff. Main event 2 is going to take place on the Friday inside of their National Convention trade nights. That's now 3 nights instead of 1 with Card Collector 2. And it's going to be insane because...
So there you have it. Seems like there'll be 3 trade nights. 1 on Thursday, 1 on Friday, and 1 on Saturday. And as someone who's a big fan of trade nights, I think this is fantastic. This is a great thing to have. I know this year there's a new management company running the National, so this is already one of the improvements that I'm seeing, and I'm really happy to see it because I think it'll lead to a better experience for a lot more people rather than having to do this. This is some of the archives from the National, from my Instagram channel, Simon466 Cards, where it's just kind of wild, wild west in the hotels. We got people using counters, tables, whatever. If you think about this is actually crazy, right? There's no way that this should be allowed by the hotels, and the fact that they put up with us is kind of crazy. And like, they're being good sports about it. There's gonna be no more of this kind of thing, right? If this is what Adam says is true, and there will be 3 different trade nights, everyone at the hotel, at the venue, sorry, not the hotel, that's going to be a great experience rather than going to various hotels trying to figure out where you're supposed to be going, where is the trade night at. No more of that. It's going to be all together in one location, and I'm glad that they're making this choice. The question I have is, why haven't they been doing this in the past? Why didn't the old management company take the time to create one of these 3-day trade night events instead of having just one trade night? And even then, it was relatively new, right? And we know they have the money to do this. You know, I've done some analysis of their financials in the past. In the last 2 years, they've made revenue of $3.7 million. And if you look at the occupancy, which is basically another word for rent, they've paid around, anywhere from, 200 something thousand to a little bit under $400,000. And that's to rent the whole place for that huge room for the whole week. I can't imagine that renting a smaller room to do a trade night for 2 or 3 nights is going to cost any more than $50,000, maybe even $60,000, right? To do it and run it and all that kind of stuff. And, maybe just take $50,000 or $60,000 out of this trade show expense. Spend $50,000 to $75,000 less on whatever this mysterious trade show expense line item was, and put it back into an event like back-to-back trade nights that would really invigorate the hobby and give people coming to the National something to look forward to. And I'm glad this new management committee that's running the National is doing something new and different and thinking outside the box. Trade night just doesn't have to be trade night. Trade night can be trade nights, 3 in a row. I think it's going to be fantastic. And it seems like they're going to have different side events, like this wrestling trade night is going to be on the 2nd day. So I think this is all great news, and I'm glad they're doing it. So I wanted to share that with you. I haven't seen anybody really talk about these 3 consecutive trade nights on any other social media or, Instagram, YouTube, anything, podcasts. So even though it was on Sportscards Nonsense, nobody's really talking about it. So I guess I'm sort of breaking this, although I don't have any of the facts. I don't have any sources. I'm just telling you what I heard on a podcast, but this person seems to be in the know, so there you go. Would love to hear your comments and thoughts as to what you think about having three trade nights. I think it'll just make it a lot easier. Everybody just stays at the venue until they shut it down. And then we'd all go back to our hotels because I think in Cleveland it's going to be a lot more spread apart than it is in Chicago. Thank you, as always, for listening and watching. I will talk to you all soon. Cheers.